Book 135, The Vatican Archives and the Apostle Paul. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back to Morning Motivation with Matthew Daniels, and today I'm going to tell you guys about the Vatican Archives and the Apostle Paul. That's right, the Vatican Archives and the Apostle Paul. But what is Matthew Daniels talking about? A long time ago, somewhere in the area we call Rome today, a young man had determined in his heart that he would break into the Vatican archives and examine the records which were hidden from the world. This young man, being raised to do this by his mother and father, joined the Catholic Church at a very young age and quickly rose through the ranks because of his dedication to the faith. After years of gaining the trust of those in charge, the young man received a position within the church that allowed him access to a certain building which was in close proximity to the archives. After much planning, the young man successfully broke into the Vatican archives, and he immediately began to examine the cache of books, scrolls, treasures, and documents. Following the advice of his parents, he sought out the oldest records pertaining to the Apostle Paul. After much searching, he finally found what he was looking for. The young man came across an epistle written in the 2nd century by the renowned church father Polycarp of Smyrna. This epistle claimed that the conversion of Paul was actually an elaborate hoax. Paul never truly accepted Jesus as the Jewish Messiah, and in fact, it claimed that Paul had more loyalty to Rome than to Israel itself. Polycarp explained that Paul only pretended to convert to the new faith of Christianity in order to infiltrate the group and distort their teachings. What he hoped to achieve by this was to bring an end to the habit of the Jews to resist the worship of other gods. Paul knew that in order for Rome to successfully conquer the Jews, he needed to distort their understanding of Torah in such a way that the Jews would accept the worship of other gods as being okay. So, he pretended that the Jewish Messiah had come, and this Messiah had given the stamp of approval on all pagan festivals, diets, cultural norms, and styles of dress. He convinced some of the most Torah-observant Jews to abandon the laws they received from Moses and instead adopt a new law, a law that said all things were lawful if one would only ask Jesus to forgive them. Polycarp went on to explain that Paul was indeed the most important figure in Christianity because it was his philosophy that ruled over Christians instead of the philosophy of Jesus. This young man who discovered these records was blown away, and he stole these documents and passed them down to his children. He also left instructions for his descendants to present this information at the proper point in time in order to correct the wrong that was done in the past. This young man, who was one of my ancestors no less, was killed for his act. But before he died, he passed this information down all the way to my time. And I realized that now is the proper point in time to release this information to the public. And so, the morning motivation of today is the Vatican Archives and the Apostle Paul. Today, family, I want you to consider the possibility that the things you have been taught in life might not be 100% true. Throughout history, many liars, scammers, and dishonest men and women have been born. And these people have created narratives that we blindly follow to our own detriment. Examine all things that you have heard and inspect all things that you have been taught. In this way, you can be sure to have the unadulterated truth in all matters. Indeed, even investigate the things that you have heard in this story. Do not take it at face value. Investigate for yourself and obtain true knowledge. In this way, you can succeed at all things. So today, go out and do good. And remember, you are awesome, you are amazing, you are wonderful, and you are great. And you are going to change the world. I just hope I'm still alive to see it, family. I'm out. Good morning.